All right, this is the watch list video for, man, Friday already. Friday, October 27th. A quick shot of my October equity curve. I try to show this every now and then. And the reason I took this screenshot is because I just kind of wanted to share this. The market definitely acts differently once the thick of earnings season gets here. And, you know, the lower price stocks that I like to trade and where I make my living, they definitely are choppier and you got to adjust. And we knew that coming in. We told our members that in chat coming in, and you can still see. And these are trades, not days. So this is, this is about this week. It took me a few days to kind of get back to highs for the month. It's been a good October. It's been a very good October. But this is the point of this. We want people to understand that when have you ever been trading and you're doing well and you're doing well and you're doing well and all of a sudden you're doing the same thing and you're losing money and you start to think you just suck? A lot of times it's not you, it's the market's changed, and that's a huge part of trading is learning and recognizing that the market's changing, even if it's due to earnings season or whatever. It doesn't really matter the reason. And don't fall into the definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You have to adjust, and so I'm definitely trading a little bit differently now. But I was ready for it coming into earnings season, and this still happened, right? I still had a few losing trades, and had to, it took me, I don't know, I had a 2 or 3 day like little cup and handle here on my equity curve, but back to highs for the month. Anyway, the point of this: learn to recognize when it's time to adjust. All right. This SPY pretty narrow range today compared to yesterday. But still hanging out and still pretty strong. A lot of earnings after the bell today. I think most of them seemed like they were beats. The watch list for Friday, you had this big day on ROKA and then kind of a quiet inside day. So maybe a third day play there. I'm not in love with that daily chart though. ROKU, another red day, but inside of yesterday. I mean, there's not a lot of trading to go on, so this could easily just keep falling. I'm only looking for one certain thing as far as trading this as a bounce, but I still think it's oversold in the short term. No trades in it today, and just goes back on watch tomorrow. It doesn't cost me anything to have something on a chart. Celgene, gap down huge and then sold off, but ended up closing above its open and kind of right at $100. I have this on long watch for tomorrow. I think it might start working its way up into that gap. We'll see, right? Chipotle, CMG, had this gap down and looked like it was going to tank, and I think this one might head back up to the $300 area. I have no idea if it's going to do it tomorrow or ever, so I'm only going to trade this on the long side with a proper intraday setup, but I do like the reversal down there. It's a kind of a former Wall Street darling, and I think it's kind of oversold down here, so I think that's worth watching. CMLS, from $300 stock to a 50-cent stock. I'll trade anything if it makes sense to me. This one had a huge move and huge volume, closing kind of in the middle of its range, so maybe a red to green in that one tomorrow. OPNT got a really nice pop on the opioid craze that happened today. So we're going to watch that for maybe a red to green. TTNP, also the same thing, although closing much farther off of its highs. Worth watching tomorrow. SRAX, really coiled here. Looks really good over 475. It might just rip through 5. We'll see. I've been watching that for the last few days. A very tricky trader, so be really careful with that one. Tops, kind of like dry ships. You can't see anything unless you zoom in, and I'll scoot this over. Yeah, I still have to zoom in. Get all that stuff out of there. Okay, so you can see the high relative volume today. Dry ships was strong this morning. I think Tops was a good sympathy play to that. I really like Tops, and I'm going to switch to 15-minute candles now so we can get a kind of better look. I really like the volume and the kind of the flag. So I love this over 70 cents tomorrow, especially if dry ships is moving. So keep that in mind. You can see the big volume today. That's TOPS. And lastly, I have KTOV. Not a very big list today. This got a big spike on, I think, FDA approval or something. I'm not positive, but a nice study came out, or results of a study, I should say, and really ripped and ended up giving a lot of those gains back, but not all of them. So this one goes on watch for tomorrow. I got to tell you, I'm not in love with this list, but there's a ton of intraday action in the afternoon. So there'll be something to trade, really, whether or not any of these give me a proper setup. And we'll also find some gappers in the morning to trade. All right, I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a good night.